Hello everyone. Welcome to Parvaz video series on planning the next normal. My name is Jawad Khan and I'm the CEO of PSDF and the country head of Parvaz, National Accelerator on closing the skills gap in Pakistan, set up in partnership with the World Economic Forum. Our guest today is Mr. Irfan Wahab, CEO Telenor Pakistan and Chairman Telenor Microfinance Bank. Irfan is also the co-chair of the working panel on ICT at Parvaz. Welcome to the platform, Irfan.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Irfan, can we start by asking you to give us a brief introduction to both Telenor Pakistan and Telenor Microfinance Bank for our audience?
Yeah, so Telenor Pakistan is one of the largest telcos in Pakistan. We're part of Telenor Group, which is again a multinational group having various services across the world, basically both in Europe as well as in Asia. And we have about 160 years of legacy in delivering telco services, starting from the home markets in Scandinavia. But last 20 years, we've really grown into new territories, especially focusing in Asian markets, which is now so basically the growth engine for the entire group. So we are present in five markets in Asia, in addition to European markets. And then Telenor Microfinance Bank is basically, I mean, when we enter into Pakistan, we see a huge gap in the financial services. We see a gap that about 80% of Pakistanis do not have access to traditional bank account, and that's how we formed this venture. Just over a year back, we've also brought in a partner, which is Ant Financial, part of the Alibaba Group. So it's a joint venture between Telenor and Ant Financial. And we are serving close to 20 million customers on mobile money and mobile financial services in Pakistan.
Thank you so much, Irfan, for the introduction. Given that the current pandemic has had a devastating impact on businesses around the world, and businesses in Pakistan are no exception, what has been the impact of this pandemic on Telenor Pakistan's business in specific, but also on the telecom industry in general?
Well, that's a very good question because no one is actually insulated or isolated from this challenging environment. And I look at it in three different aspects. One is basically our own employees, right? So, I mean, it was a major shift when we have to all have to work from home, and especially in an area which is just like essential services. So this brings us closer to our purpose. That means that how can we serve and empower our 45 million customers who need us most in those times when there are lockdowns and then there's a pandemic. So adapting to that reality is one. Secondly, when it comes to business, we also see challenges, especially one would imagine that the need for our services grows, which is also true. But then there are certain segments, for example, business segment, large SME, which totally gone silent because of the lockdowns. Similarly, the travelers and the roamers, that's the other part of the business, which just vanished overnight. So there are impact on businesses. And then thirdly, I mean, on a broader industry, I think still, although there's an impact, but I think you see a great opportunity at the same time.
Irfan, what about the jobs? Because, we also see across sector that a lot of people have lost their jobs. Has the telecom sector, by and large, been able to preserve the jobs? Have there been any layoffs? What areas in which you were forced to lay off? What's your perspective on that?
Yeah, so overall, we see that we're holding on quite well when it comes to protecting our employees, and especially in the context of employment. So what we see is that there's a lot of innovation which start happening in. There's a lot of digitization which is happening on the distribution side in our value chain. So far, I mean, there is no direct implications as such on our telco sector when it comes to the employment. But we see going forward that there's more and more pressure. So we need to modernize our sort of how we approach employment, how we approach work, how we approach various processes, and also the larger ecosystem which we need to build around technology and digitization.
Mm-hmm. I'll come back to the point about, as you said, you're looking to revamp employment requirements. But let me ask you your outlook about Telenor Pakistan specifically, but also the telecom industry. How does it look like over the next 12 to 18 months?
So I think if I look at the a high-level view, I mean, the macroeconomic situation obviously is very challenging, and that impacts everyone, all sectors across the country. So there is definitely a softness when it comes to spending on services, and we see that through our consumers, through our business consumers, as well as ordinary customers. Pakistan is largely prepaid market. So here, what we have seen, the one immediate thing which has happened is that people start optimizing their spend because they have lesser income. Many people have lost their jobs. So they have downgraded themselves to commitment levels which they used to have. That means lesser spend on telco. And I think going forward, we also see some pressures because of the weakness in not because people don't need the services, it's more about the weakness in the economy. At the same time, you also see some opportunities around, for example, e-learning, some businesses going online. You already see a good exponential growth in things like e-commerce, for example, online marketplaces emerging. So it's going to be a mixed bag going forward. Okay?
I mean, would the objective be to, over the next 12 to 18 months, to get back to the end 2019 level of business activity, or is it going to be lower than that, or you feel that it's going to be better than that?
Yeah, so I think I will address it in a bit different way. So I think I see three phases of this crisis, right? And there's no playbook, as we all know. I mean, because no one has envisaged when we started this year, 2020, with a fresh strategy and fresh ambitions. And all of a sudden, I mean, this hits us. So I think the first phase is to protect. I mean, to protect our employees, protect our partners, protect our customers. Like I said, keep on delivering good services to them, which is extremely vital in those times. Second is to preserve. And I think that's true for all, and especially challenging for the smaller businesses to preserve cash and to preserve what they have and to make sure that we protect that as well. And third is to actually transform. Yeah. So the outcome next 12 to 18 months will also depend on that whether we are successful on those three elements, and especially the last one. Because obviously when it started, no one was prepared to sort of plan ahead and look ahead. But now, as things settle down, we need to also see that how we see future, how we see the new normal, and are we able to actually ride on some of the trends which we all see. And those trends give great opportunities. So our entire focus is that we should not let this crisis, or we should not waste this crisis.
Irfan, when you talk about transformation, and you earlier alluded to the changed nature of jobs, the people that are interested in entering the telecom sector over the next 12 to 18 months, what are the kind of skills that the telco sector is going to be looking for when it hires for the next 12 to 18 months? Yeah,
so that's again very good question, because one needs to see that what sort of trends going to be emerging, and that will create demand on the employment side as well. And one thing is quite clear, that we see a lot of automation, and we see a lot of need for automation. So to give you an example, I mean, for example, our call center business. We, a couple of years ago, around 100,000 people were calling us every day, either to get information or to address their issues or problems or get new services activated. We have substantially reduced those numbers through giving them or empowering our customers, also using, RPAs, process automation, which is based on robotics. Yeah. So, and we firmly believe that our journey has just started. So some of the skills which are linked to AI, artificial intelligence, to automation, to process automation, back-end automation will be very key. Secondly, I would say we also see a trend linked to people moving towards online payments, and we as a country need to move towards a cashless society. So I think the fintech area as a whole is another area where there will be opportunities and there will be specific skill sets. As we embrace more and more technology, it's quite, I think, obvious. Another trend is information security. How we protect our data, how we work within the privacy ambit to make sure that our customers can keep on trusting us and their information is secure with us and they're able to transact and act remotely, it doesn't matter where they are, with full trust and confidence. So information security is another area which will be extremely important. And some of those trends, I would say, are cuts across industries, not just in ICT industry. I think it will be relevant for many more industries.
Sure. Irfan, let me talk a little bit about your current workforce. Given that the business has been seriously affected, that also impacts the training budgets that you had envisaged for your current workforce. The whole work from home environment has also made the on-site trainings impossible. Has the telco sector generally and Telenor specifically started to move into online learning platforms to meet the learning and development needs of your workforce? And is that something which is just COVID related, or you feel that that's going to become now a permanent feature of your training and development strategy?
Yeah, so I think we are sort of one of the exceptions, I would say, in a larger environment where we already have embraced on this much earlier, right? So last couple of years, we've been really actually pushing employees and encouraging them to use and leverage as much online learning opportunity as possible. To the extent that we have, what we call a Telenor campus with, thousands of different courses. We have signed up and teamed up with likes of Coursera, LinkedIn, and others to make sure that our employees have access to that. And we have gone to the extent for now 30 in a row where we have set a 40-hour learning challenge. That means that each employee every year has to upskill 40 hours of learning, which is primarily online learning.
Okay.
And then what we are doing actually for some of our customers, and so for example, this year we have also gone ahead with a virtual summer internship program. We are one of the first ones in the industry to do that. We also thought about it, whether we should cancel or not, just like many other organizations. So we decided to go ahead. And we are also giving some online opportunities to our customers and larger ecosystems. So we signed up with LinkedIn, and we are now in process of actually awarding some of the licenses for consumers, not just employees. So we firmly believe that this is the future. I think we had that head start, and we have this belief that this is very useful, and we will take it forward.
Interesting. Irfan, because of the difficult times that the businesses have faced over the last 4 to 5 months, a lot of them had to innovate really fast to ensure business continuity. Are any of those 2 or 3 innovations that come to your mind, do you think are now going to become a permanent part of your business and operating model?
Yeah. Yes, I would say by and large, and then necessity is the mother of invention, as we all know. So what we see is that when it comes to distribution, like in a mass scale operations which we're running in Pakistan, when the markets were closed, a lot of people were not able to top up. So we see a lot of digitization happening through mobile wallets. And we pushed it. This is something which we were envisioning, we were hoping to happen, but COVID has actually accelerated the pace of transformation. So that's one which we also hope that we can carry on post-COVID. Second is, as we are running a large network with 13,000 towers across the country, so a lot of those optimization work on the field operations, on the technology side, used to be manual, right? So we need to set teams, to the side, you need to do drive testing to optimize network. And now we have adopted zero touch based on, again, robotics, AI, remotely looking at various data points and seeing how we adjust those parameters automatically. So that's also automation which is happening as part of our common delivery platform on both IT and network side. And we hope that we will keep it and take it to the next level as such. So I think these are some of the examples which are very, it's core to, it's not happening on the sideline, it's actually happening inside the core of our business. And that's extremely important to make it more sustainable.
Irfan, let me come back to jobs. You think there are going to be any collective action by the telco industry that can help to not only preserve existing jobs, help change their nature, but also see any growth in new hiring?
Yeah. So I would say you don't see direct employment going up in terms of direct employees in those companies as such, because as we adopt more automation and digitization, we don't see that effect. You will see some of it when we go into building the broader digital ecosystem, obviously new services, new ventures, but that will still be limited. If you think in the scale of a country like Pakistan, this will not really be any meaningful for what we need to do as an industry, as well as all the stakeholders, whether from academia, whether from public sector or a development background. We all need to come together and look at the trend. So the trend gonna be that it doesn't matter where you're sitting. You can not only work from home, you can work from everywhere or anywhere at any time. So how we really equip our youth with the skill sets which will make them valuable in this new normal globally. So skill set development in those areas which will be sought after. Some of the areas which I mentioned earlier, information security, for example, AI, robotics, some of the high-tech skill set. We are already, fifth largest freelancing nation, but we have not really moved up the value chain. We are still at the basic coding level by and large. So we need to really think and give that direction to the youth. And then also, I think initiatives like Parvaz is a great initiative to create a meaningful impact in terms of the vision, and then how we provide mentoring and opportunities to the youth.
Well, thank you so much for that. Irfan, the youth, is living through some very uncertain and despondent times. As they graduate from colleges, universities, are looking to enter the job market, it doesn't look very nice to them. What is the one positive message that you can leave them with as they try and navigate their way out of this crisis?
Yeah, it's a great question. And we have seen that the economies and the countries which are most vulnerable are the most affected as a COVID. And then Pakistan is obviously one of those. So my message is going to be that, let's not focus on the downside. Let's not focus on the negativity. Let's see what opportunities are being created. Let's focus on the bright side of this crisis. And the bright side is that there will be a new normal. There will be a new approach to work where physical proximity will be less important. So let's ride on this wave. Let's leverage technology. Let's build a knowledge economy based on or riding on those trends. And then it doesn't matter what is your background, which college you've graduated from. If you have those skill sets, you will be in demand, and then you can create an impact, not just on your local, regional scale, but even at the global scale.
Thank you very much, Irfan, for making the time to talk to us. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for the opportunity.